Hello, welcome to the Surmising Thoughts and Charts blog. Today we are going to see a Neophyte explanation of time travel. As you all know, I have been writing posts on points to ponder, traditional aspects, and philosophical thoughts, and etc. And this is my first time videographing experience on explaining basic terminologies and behind time travel. So what I'm trying to do is compare it with the digital technology concept, the most basic of all, or even the mother of all, OOP. So object oriented concepts. So what I'm trying to do is trying to compare just two aspects of OOP to time travel, so it can be easily understood and be grabbed. The essence of time travel is really grabbed. So there is a lot of myth going on about time travel, and most of all the basic thing is that people aren't really understanding how time travel can happen. The basic question that one can ever have about it is, I have crossed the particular time, now how can I go back? So as you see my post, it gives explanation on the earth rotation and revolution day time, day night changes, and how seasons are changed and how a year is crossed. So just a quick recap: the earth rotates around the sun, and it also rotates around itself, which is called a revolution, and it takes 24 hours for one revolution of earth. So, and it takes 365 days to come one full round around the sun, which makes a year. So let's now switch back to OOP. What is OOP? What do we have got? We have got classes, objects, encapsulation, inheritance. We have lots. Now let's not go further into a deep analysis on OOP. Just take the basic concept. It has classes and objects. What does it do? You create a class, you have it encapsulated with its variables, its defined attributes, and the functionalities that it is gonna perform. So once you create an object, that particular encapsulated class gets a wholesome of allocation inside the memory, a non-interrupted wholesome of allocation. This is what NEOP does. So now let's come back to time travel, and let's say we have a class called Earth, and it has variables like man, bike, and dog. I've taken an instance like what happens if a man who's riding on a bike is hitting a dog, and then he's been haunted on the thought for 2 years, and right now he would wish to time travel and change the scenario. Why this basic scenario is that I think we are lacking humanity at this very point on earth. So such an instance is what strikes me the very minute I think of an example to explain something. So this would be a dedication to humanity. So the example will be like an tribute to humanity, I would say. So coming back to the point, so let's say we have a class Earth, and we have three variables called man, bike, and dog, which has its own attribute. As we all know, I'm taking the basic attribute that man is a living, bike is a non-living, and dog is a living. And their functionalities are: a man is riding a bike, and the bike runs on his instructions, and a dog runs on its own and is a living being. So now let's get back to this, which is he was, let's say, performing this in the year, not performing, he was into this action around 2020, and let's say he crossed 2021 and 2022. The 2020 had one particular functionality of him riding a bike and when he rode a bike on that very particular year on a particular day, he hit the dog. Now this incident is an instance which is being stored in the very region of the orbital space of Earth, which has traces or memories or the real instances of it left behind, a copy of it, say. We as a human being are beyond certain abilities that will not be able to see or influence certain kind of things, but the physical or the scientific explanation can give some justification. So let's assume that there is a copy or an instance of this man riding the bike here, and he has hit the dog. Now he is all the way in 2022, and his relative actions will be is being recorded. As this video is being recorded, someone, maybe God, a superior power, is recording all our instances and is saving a copy of it in that particular orbital space, let's say. So when we, a human being on Earth, can create servers and store zillions and millions of information in some space, in some physical space, why can't this galaxy store information on our activities and our life on the whole? So that's what is happening. We have instances every minute, every second, every hour. On the whole, our life is instantiated, as we all know, and we are able to recapture our memories only because of that, because that such a thing is existing in the earth and cosmos. We are able to retrieve our memories and we are able to live through it. Maybe when we close our eyes, we get to know what's happening, and if we dream, we dream of our someone who has not existed in our life. These are because there are instances or traces of it that the Earth's orbit have been saving or storing somewhere. So, which can have many spiritual and scientific explanation, which is not the topic of the day, and hence switch back to this. So now, this particular man who wishes to change the scenario would like to time travel. So he makes a time travel and goes to this place, and he would see himself, the copy of him, coming in a bike. This particular man, if he changes something here, it will definitely have further impacts down. That is another part of physics, and it has got its own spiritual or fate oriented explanations that are related to astrology or simply spiritual kind of explanations hold back beyond all these explanations. So it is always wise to make something remain or let something be on its own or happen as per its own fate. So no, the main concept for anyone to say to avoid time travel is that we are not supposed to, or we shouldn't force changes onto the natural happenings, which is what we are doing in daily basis, on day-to-day basis. So that's another big topic for discussion. So let's keep that down and let's focus on time travel. So where were we? We were traveling to 2020. This man sees himself riding a bike, and then he does something. Maybe he knows the time when he travels, so he arrives a time before his appearance on that particular road, and he tries to take the dog away. He erases the dog, and then the dog goes off, and then the man rides away without hitting the dog, and then he makes his travel back to 2022. So which is an existing date. So this way, and now that he is back, he can relax and he can be happy that the that he did not commit any sin or any crime, but what happened to the dog was its own fate. So that's not the topic for discussion, as I earlier said. So this is what happens in a time travel. A time travel basically travels to instances, which is nothing but the OP concept. Every functionality is invoked, every attribute is invoked when that particular object is instantiated. So when the Earth hits 2020 and when 2020 a new object is instantiated for 2020 and all the instances, functionalities, events and everything occurs, and then it finishes, but there is no object destruction when it comes to the class Earth. The instances remain there, and we move on to 2020 and we move on to 2022. And there is no time travel to any further future space because there are no instances created so far. This is why we'll not be anytime able to time travel to future. A future time travel is impossible because it has not been created. But when we travel to 2020, which is a past, but remaining in 2020, traveling to 2022 would be a future travel. So I hope this concept is clear, because 2022 is already under action and already being instantiated. It's no problem to go back to past and then come to present, which is considered a future travel from the past, and there is no actual future. Futures are always like, as the proverb goes, tomorrow never comes. It's not a certain thing unless and until it is created. Every functionality or every space that is needed for the further functionality is instantiated dynamically on the further go as every day progresses. So this is what time travel means. I hope this comparison makes it clear for the basic time travel understanding. I hope to see you in a lot of other videos. Thank you so much for listening.